Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters all across the land and sea. Y'all know who it be. It's always me. It's the Aquamarine Amethyst Royal. It is the Heyoka. I'm not in nature right now. I'm inside the city, but I'm at a park, okay? The reason why I'm here because I'm reminded of all the beauty of nature that's all around me. Now, recently I've been seeing a lot of videos about people talking about death and the death of celebrities, people dying in threes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's very tragic and everything, but why is nobody always talking about this until something tragic happens? Why is nobody realizing that we are one? Why is nobody realizing that weapons of mass destruction and rivers of blood ain't making nobody happy? Why is nobody realizing this? Why is nobody actually realizing that we are creating our own self-destruction when we harm one another, okay? I just saw a video on my Instagram today of somebody making a whole funny video about Hulk Hogan dying. Now, I'm not saying he was the most holiest a man out there. Actually, nobody is the most holiest a man or woman out there, or he, she, they, or them. But I'm getting really tired of we only have sympathy when brothers and sisters, no matter what race, what religion, what background dies. That's only when we have sympathy and when we start to care. Why is it we never start to care when people are homeless? Why is it we never start to care when people are sick and dying in a hospital, suffering from cancer and all this kind of stuff? Why is it we don't start to care until bombs and missiles and stuff like that is dropped? We don't care until something tragic happens. What is up with that? Now, like I said, my message today is simple. I need y'all to hear me on this, okay? We are one. I need y'all to feel me on this logic, okay? Now, at the beginning of my message, I said something very powerful. I said, Assalamu alaikum, okay? For those of y'all who know what that means, I don't have to tell you what it means, okay? It simply means I am not of many religions, okay? I respect all religions. I respect all faiths, okay? I respect all backgrounds, okay? Because I put it like this. We are all one in the eyes of the Father in heaven. But we still act like we are divided like the many waters of a river or the many oceans of the planet, okay? Why is it we can't act like we don't have no sense unless something tragic happens, Why is it we can't act like we have some sense until missiles are dropped or until, we all start dropping like flies? Why is it we can't act like we have no sense until weapons of mass destruction start falling out the sky or somebody in your background and your friends and your family start to die? Now, like I said, a while back, I was watching this debate between a Muslim brother and a Jewish brother. Now, they almost came to heated terms, but instead of people sitting up there giving positive comments and saying we are all one, we shouldn't be fighting, we shouldn't be divided, they said the most derogatory terms I ever heard, calling them donkeys and skinheads and all these other kinds of stuff. Now, I'm not going to say the rest of the words that I read on there, that I heard, that I saw, because it was very disgusting, okay? But I say that to say this. We are all the same. Underneath the skin, okay? Underneath the skin, we all bleed red, okay? I get really sick and tired of us acting like we don't understand this logic. I really wish I had a time machine or something so I could go back in time and punch the idiot who decided to identify each other by the color of their skin. How to identify people by the color of their skin, or, who looks like this or who looks like that, or who speaks like this, or who has more and who has less, and all this kind of crap. Okay, because it's really getting quite stupid, okay? We don't show no remorse for anything except for when it happens in our own backyard. Otherwise, we quick to call each other derogatory names and be disrespectful as I don't know what. It is very disgusting, okay? My brothers and sisters, all across the land and sea, I say this message because I really hope we can evolve. I really hope we can see that we are all connected like the roots of a tree, okay? We are all connected like this beautiful tree that I'm standing under right here. And if one tree is all trees and one people is all people, then why is it we can't act like that unless death is around? Why is that? Why is it when death is knocking at our door is the only time we seem to have remorse or kindness for one another? Now, I need y'all to feel me on this message, okay? We are one. And I know I done dropped this message many times, but I don't know how many more times I'm going to drop it in many different terms, many different verses, many different sayings, okay? Because we are acting like we are devolving instead of evolving. You know why I say that? Because I was watching this TV show on HBO a while back. It was called Raised by Wolves. These people started fighting for no reason whatsoever because one was what was it? One was a militant faith religion, and one who believed there was no God. So one believed if you die with your eyes open, you will see the truth. And the other one was blind and whatever. They was led by faith. I'm not saying we are blind because we are led by faith, but I'll put it like this. These people couldn't stand one another because one was this and one was that. But underneath, we were all the same. So they started a 100-year war that did not stop until the war and the piled up of dead bodies has consumed the entire planet. To the fact the planet had become unlivable. So they decided to pioneer and venture forth to another planet and do the same thing all over again. I say that to say this. We are repeating the same cycles that our ancestors did, okay? We are fighting over faith. We are fighting over who looks like what, who loves who loves he, she, they, or them, what gender, whatever, okay? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I keep reiterating this. The only one who has the right to judge is the Creator who created us all. And yet we continue to act like we have no sense whatsoever. Okay? Like I said, I saw a while back 3 people had died recently. The one brother, I believe, I forget his name at the present moment, he played on The Cosby Show. I couldn't believe he had died. But instead of people saying sympathy and all this kind of stuff, there was so many negative comments. It was unnatural, okay? They was talking about some, how is this possible? What, yada, yada, yada. They sacrificing people in threes. Then here come Hulk Hogan dying. And then this other celebrity, I forget his or her name. Oh, Ozzy Osbourne. He died. Now, I say that to say this. Nobody had nothing positive to say about these 3 legendary people who died. But they all were so quick to say so much negative BS, it was not normal. Why is it we only show sympathy when somebody is 6 feet deep? Or in an urn? Or we spreading their ashes across a mountain or a sea or whatever? Okay? Why is that? Why is it we can't act like we got some sense? Like I said, at the beginning of my video, I said something. I said, and I want y'all to understand this. I said, Assalamu alaikum. Now, if you were a Muslim or you know what that means, the proper way to respond would be Salaikum Salam, okay? Now, y'all see I'm holding these Islamic prayer beads, okay? I am not of the Muslim faith, but I respect all religions. I respect all backgrounds. A brother named Ali, who I talk to, you know, off and on day-to-day basis, me and him respect one another, even though we are not of the same faith, the same religion, the same background. Because I put it to you like this. We are all the same people under the eyes of God. But we act like we are not. We act like we got to fight. We act like we got to kill. We act like we got to destroy each other. We act like we got to disrespect one another. And of the 3 things I hate the most is always about faith. Because somebody has more than you, that's number 2. Or because number 3, and which is most stupid, is because it's for G-O-D. And I'm not talking about the big man upstairs. I'm saying it's for G-O-D, which is gold, oil, and drugs, okay? Real talk. That's all it's ever for, okay? That's all they take from another country until they dwindle them down till they are nothing, make them feel like they are nothing but, well, a sack of cockroaches or feces on the ground that they could just wipe under their shoe, okay? As long as they can flick them off their shoulder, they good at saying, oh, we don't give a care. We rich, we high up on the mountain or on the hill like we the Olympian gods. So we look down on you pathetic mortals because we have everything over here, but you don't have nothing over there. So we could pollute your oceans, we could pollute your rivers, we can start unnecessary wars with you, we could discriminate, we could be a dumb president or a dumb dictator or whatever, and use the army or ICE or whoever else to harm innocent people. I'm just gonna keep asking this question. When are we going to stop repeating the mistakes of our past and realize that we are all the same people? It takes us 3 months to a year to learn each other's languages, okay? Yet we are still fighting over earth, air, fire, and water. I really need y'all to feel me on this logic. When are we going to rise up and wise up? You can destroy the body, okay? You can destroy the body all you want. But the consciousness and the soul and the spirit can never be destroyed, because we are energy, okay? We are energy made flesh, okay? We pass that energy and that knowledge on to the next generation so we won't be forgotten, so we can teach the next generation. But we are not teaching them nothing if we are teaching them to disrespect their elders, okay? My auntie came to me a while back, heated as a motherfucker. Excuse my French, but I couldn't believe what happened. She literally said she was about to whoop a little kid's ass. And I'm like, why was that? She said, because this kid disrespected me by calling me a bitch. She said she said she had to pray right there and hold her peace that she didn't lose her temper. And I'm like, auntie, that couldn't have been me. That couldn't have been my mama, my grandma. Because if you say words that you don't know how to spell, you couldn't have been around my mama. You couldn't have been around my grandmamas and said that crap, because they would have slapped the taste out of your mouth and put a bar of soap in your mouth until you learn how to spell that word. Like my nephew called his brother a dummy a while ago, and I'm like, spell dummy. C, I'm like, ain't no C in dummy. We got to start educating the next generation, okay? The fact that they can disrespect one another, but they don't know how to spell half the words they saying because they just hearing when an adult or what somebody else, a young adult, is older than them is saying, is really disturbing, okay? I'm saying that to say this. We got to rise up and wise up. We cannot keep being stupid, my brothers and sisters. Now, I'm saying stupid because I know how to spell that, okay? But I'm saying this because we continue to repeat the same mistakes that our ancestors did, okay? We continue to disrespect one another, harm one another, hurt one another, make one another feel like we are nothing but cockroaches under each other's feet to be stepped on in any way, shape, or form we deem worthy. We got to realize that is not the way. We got to realize that we got to teach the next generation, the future generation, that hate and discrimination, rivers of blood, any form of derogatory disrespect, whether it's verbal, physical, mental, is messed up. Because you don't know how somebody feeling. You say the wrong thing to somebody, and they will snap the freak off at you, okay? Like I said, I was watching this video a while back. This woman came back from her home and harmed her manager at work. Y'all got to rise up and wise up. And we are so quick to violence, that is messed up. I've spoken my piece. Peace and love from the Heyoka.